Look at this mass of white roots. Just look at the intensity. They aren't just growing. They are a hungry, living web literally hugging a blackened, partially decomposed banana peel as if their life depends on it. Because in this soil, it actually does. 30 days ago, my neighbors looked over the fence and thought I'd finally lost my mind. They watched me dig holes and bury raw kitchen waste directly under my tomato seedlings instead of buying those expensive neon blue synthetic fertilizers at the big box stores. Today is March 19th, 2026, and I'm standing here in the cold morning mist of Zone 7 to prove that we have been lied to by the garden industry for far too long. You don't need a single dollar to create a massive, resilient root system like the one in my hand. Over the next half hour, I'm going to take you through every breath of this soil, every rhythmic crunch of my shovel hitting the earth, and the raw reality of gardening through a brutal March frost. This isn't a simple guide. It's the story of a revolution happening under your fingernails. Welcome back to the garden. We are now in the heart of March. The air is crisp, and the morning dew still clings to the rustic wooden gates of my allotment. If you listen closely, you can hear the birds clearing their throats, woodpeckers drumming, and songbirds forecasting that spring is finally here. For many of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the most honest time of the year. In 2026, we've moved past the era of the perfect manicured lawn. We've entered the age of frugal optimism. We've realized that the high-gloss, chemical-dependent gardens of the past were a fragile illusion. A real garden should be an ecosystem that heals itself, and it starts with the things we used to toss in the garbage. Let's look at the soil thermometer I've kept here. The needle is slowly climbing past 10 degrees Celsius. That's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the magic number. This is the exact moment when the microbial life under our feet begins to stir after the long winter sleep. They are hungry. If you feed them synthetic chemicals now, you're just giving them a stimulant. You're forcing the plant to grow tall before its roots are ready. But if you bury your kitchen scraps, you're providing a slow-cooked feast for the fungi and bacteria that actually build life. For this experiment, I've used only 3 golden ingredients that every one of you has in your kitchen right now: banana peels, eggshells, and used coffee grounds. Listen to the sounds around us as I prepare these materials. There is something deeply satisfying about the crunch of eggshells that have been air-dried in the sun. Don't just toss a whole eggshell into the dirt. It will take years to break down. When you crush them by hand, feeling the sharp, tiny fragments against your skin, you're creating a source of slow-release calcium. In the world of plant biology, calcium is the concrete that builds strong cell walls. It's the only thing that will save your tomatoes from the dreaded blossom end rot when the scorching July heat waves of Zone 8 arrive. Then we have the banana peels. I use my old weathered garden knife to slice them into small 2-centimeter pieces. You can almost feel the blade sliding through the soft, leathery skin. Banana peels are nearly 42% potassium, the highest organic source you can find. Potassium is the delivery man of the garden. It regulates water flow between cells and builds the thick, woody stems that won't snap when the sudden March gales blow through the valley. The final ingredient, and perhaps my favorite, is the coffee grounds. I collect them in a chipped ceramic bowl at the edge of the garden. They give you a modest 2% nitrogen boost for green leaves, but their real value is in the scent and texture. It acts as a beacon for my most dedicated, unpaid workers, the earthworms. While I'm sitting here on this bench, drinking a cup of tea and watching the orange glow of the sunset, a massive construction site is operating under my boots. Those worms are tilling, mixing, and transforming my waste into the most fertile humus on the planet. Now, follow me to the planting beds. We're going to perform the burial ritual with the respect it deserves. I'm digging a hole about 15 to 20 centimeters deep, right where I plan to set my seedlings. This is what we call the sweet spot of the soil. At this depth, there is still enough oxygen for the aerobic microbes to thrive without creating any foul odors. I spread the mixture of scraps at the bottom, cover it with a thin layer of native soil to isolate it from the air, and then I place my young tomato plant on top. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Let the mud get under your fingernails. Feeling the damp, crumbly texture of the earth as it slides through your fingers is the most authentic connection a human being can have with this planet. There's a secret that most experts won't tell you. The heat generated by the decomposition of those scraps underground actually keeps the root zone a few degrees warmer during these freezing March nights. It's a natural heating pad for my babies. Gardening in 2026 isn't always about sunshine and blooming flowers. Look at my log from the last 30 days. There were mornings when the frost was so thick it looked like white fur on the leaves. My neighbors were panicking, dumping growth stimulants to force their plants to catch up with the season. But my plants stayed low, dark, and steady. In this era, sustainability isn't measured by how fast a plant grows tall. It's measured by how deep its roots go. On day 12, we had a sudden hailstorm. I stood out here in the rain, using old wooden crates and scraps of burlap to shield this experiment. It felt helpless at times, but that struggle is what builds resilience. By day 20, a few aphids appeared. In a chemical garden, that's a catastrophe. In my regenerative system, it was a dinner invitation. Within 48 hours, the ladybugs arrived like tiny knights in red armor. Look at the color of these leaves. There are no filters on this camera, no edits. That deep, vibrant green is the magnesium and manganese from those banana peels, finally making its way into the plant's vascular system. This is what health looks like. Let's pause and appreciate the rhythm of the work for a moment. The metallic ring of the shovel hitting a small stone, the soft whoosh of tilled earth, and the deep, resonant glug of rainwater being scooped from a rusted tin barrel. This is the music of the garden. In 2026, we are looking for micro-escapes that fit into real life. We want 10-minute garden breaks and renter-friendly sanctuary spaces. Whether you have a tiny city balcony or a sprawling estate, you can create beauty with color, texture, and scent. The key is creating a sensory experience that makes you want to linger outside from your morning coffee to your evening tea. We are veering away from the overused rustic and imperfect aesthetic and going back to clean, classic lines, but with a soul that is purely organic. As we reach the conclusion of this 30-day journey, we've reached the moment of truth. I'm going to use my trowel to gently lift this experimental plant out of the earth once more. Listen to the sound of the dry soil falling away as the roots are revealed. The root ball is 3 times larger than the control plant I grew in the standard soil bed next to it. These thick, white, healthy roots are wrapped so tightly around the blackened scraps of banana peel that you can't tell where the waste ends and the life begins. The soil is alive. It's breathing through every rhythm of decay. And the best part? My wallet is still full. Gardening in 2026 shouldn't be a luxury hobby for the elite with expensive technology. It should be a return to the basics, where we learn to respect every scrap of waste and turn death into life. If you're tired of the endless cycle of buying chemicals, if you want to build a garden that actually lasts to protect your family in an unpredictable world, then stay here with me. We're going to do many more of these crazy experiments. I can't promise you a garden that looks like a perfume advertisement, but I can promise you a garden with a soul. Subscribe to the channel and join our community of frugal optimists. Let's master the 2026 growing season together by doing less and observing more. Sustainability doesn't have to be expensive. It just requires you to slow down, touch the dirt, and listen to what it's asking for. Thank you for spending this cold March morning with me. I hope you find peace in your own green spaces, and I'll see you in the garden for our next update. Goodbye for now.